Welcome to Uruk's Hollow!
Welcome again everyone, this is Uruk's Hollow, and today I am very pleased to finally announce the release of something I've been working on for several months. The biggest Nemesis database for Shadow of Mordor, as well as a study on the RNG of the game. So a while back, I looked up Nemesis names and only came across the list on the wiki. This list was very incomplete with only a few dozen titles and names in it. It was because of this that I started creating my own list on this subject, and more recently, with the release of the Nemesis Forge, I figured a lot of people would like to learn about Uruks that they have yet to find. So now, here we are. So what was this project about? The first step was finding every name and title and writing them down on a list for future reference. When that was done, I went into Nemesis Forge that thankfully made things a lot easier. From there, I collected data from 100 Nemesis Forge cycles on a new save game in which the story wasn't touched. That allowed me to get 25 random Uruk Captains every time. I also screenshotted every one of them. So 100 might not seem like a very high number, but that is actually 2,500 Uruks documented. The database with all the images of these Uruks is available right now. I'll leave the links in the description. There are two versions of this gallery. First, the complete one, which has a screenshot for every single Uruk I documented, each one of them on a folder for the cycle they appeared in. And there is also the Lite version, which has only one image for every captain title in the game. Along with the galleries, there is also an Excel file included with the complete list of names and titles in Shadow of Mordor, as well as the results of every single cycle. So let's start talking about some of the results. There are a total of 120 unique names and 325 unique titles in Shadow of Mordor, not counting those from the story or DLC, of course. This gives us a total of 39,000 different combinations, and that is just for their name and title. So, what were the most common and rarest titles and names? Let's start with titles. The ones that appeared the most times were Kingslayer, with 21 appearances, Life Drinker, also with 21, The Poet, again with 21 for a triple tie, followed by The Deceased with 20, and The Friendly with 20 as well. The list goes on and on through all the titles all the way down to the rarest ones. We have The Humiliator with 2, as well as The Savage, again with 2 appearances, Sawbones with 1, The Caveborn also with 1, and lastly the Pathetic, again with just 1. Now moving on to names, the most common one was Gimub with 32, followed by Ushbaka with 30, Pushkrimp with 29, Amug with 28, and lastly Ashgarn also with 28. The rarest names were Stakuga with 14, followed by Folgom with 12, Muglug with 12 as well, Asdush with 11, and for the last spot, Ugakuga with only 10. Now, I know you guys are going to flood the comment sections with this question, so I am just going to answer it right now. The name Prak appeared a total of 19 times, and the title Jaws sadly only 3 times, so good luck trying to get a Prak Jaws clone. So, who was the most interesting Uruk I found while doing this? I'll give it to Mouseful the Timid. He probably looks like any other Uruk you've seen before, except, well, I don't need to explain, just look at him. For those of you wondering who I'll bring as my nemesis to the sequel, it is not this guy. I am working on finding an even crazier one, and hopefully I'll have him before the game comes out. Now, before finishing this video, I want to explain real quick how RNG in the campaign mode differs from clean RNG in the Forge and some of the Trials of War. First, when you enter a trial that has randomly generated captains, such as the Endless Challenge, you have, in theory, the same chance of getting any name and title. That is a 0.3% chance for titles and a 0.83 chance for names. The same goes for the Forge when you are on a new save. But when you are in story mode, that's when things are a bit different. So you have for certain killed a bunch of captains, and you can see their corpses or heads on the army screen still where they used to be. These corpses can affect the RNG when new captains are promoted. No captain with the same name or title as one that is still on the army screen, even if it is a dead one, can be promoted. So for example, this guy is called Ishga the Drunk. Until his corpse is replaced, no other captain called Ishga or the Drunk can enter the hierarchy. When his corpse is gone, that is no longer a limitation. And that's it for this time. I hope that this database helps you and the entire community in some way, be it that you didn't know yet what kind of Uruk you wanted as your nemesis or follower, or that you are into wiki stuff and want to use this to improve the article there, which is pretty terrible by the way. With all that aside, thank you so much for watching as always. Remember to stay tuned for so much more here at Uruk's Hollow. I'll see you next time.